Now is the third part to Noel. Fish from the last two videos. The whole gang drove up to a pink house with Daisy in the front yard. "Thanks for the ride. See you on Monday, Noel," Miss Warner said before leaving the vehicle. "Good night," Noel said back. Suddenly she drove up to the next house. It was Chucky's. "Baby girl, are you sure that I'm not imposing?" he asked coyly. "That question again? You should have known the answer to the question by now. Starting with N and ends with O," she responded. No," he said. "Exactly. Now enough with the questions, mister, and get some clothes from your house. Be back to this car ASAP," she said sternly. "Yes, ma'am. Be back shortly," he said, then exited the vehicle. The kids giggled. "Knock it off, Giggles 1 and 2, she snapped. "Sorry, Mama," JJ and Luke said at the same time. "Get some sleep, you guys. I'll be right back," she said. Then she got out the car. Chucky was grabbing some clothes and putting it in a gym bag. Suddenly he felt a hand caressing his back softly. "God, is that you?" he whispered. "Would God do this?" a voice said. He felt kisses on the back of his neck. "Noel, what are you doing?" he asked her as he turned around. Noel shushed him and gave him a kiss on the lips. He tried to push her away, but she overpowered him. Once he came up for air, Chucky said, "I thought you wasn't even ready, girl." "So now you listen to me. Since when?" Noel questioned. "Since always. You didn't think I would listen. Let me ask you something. Are you sure you're ready for this?" he said. "Yeah. I'm no longer attached to Julius Williams Sr. We were only married for 2 weeks because of Julius Jr. That was over by the time my son was 2 years old," she said. "Where was Luke in all this?" he asked. "That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Remember that the night when I got really drunk? You took my keys saying you won't let me drive home drunk? Something that you promised my dad," she said. "I remember that night. We had sex twice, but you were gone by the time I woke up that morning. I felt guilty about it afterwards," he said. "Don't be, Chuck. I wasn't. You blew up my phone 10 times that morning. Got all your messages, including that long-ass message you left on my voicemail," she said. "You got that, huh?" he said. "That long-ass message was 10 minutes long," she said. "Was it really 10 minutes?" he asked. "Yes, my iPhone nearly died behind your long-ass message. It was at 2% battery by the time I listened to that message," she said. "Okay, back to that night. I got sidetracked for a minute, so I'll get to the point. I felt a little sick 7 days later and decided to go to the doctor's office. I thought it was the tequila, but it wasn't. That's when I learned I was pregnant with Lucas. So where are you going with this, Noel?" he said anxiously. "I'm gonna come out and say it. Chucky, Lucas is your son," she blurted out. "Huh? I don't follow. I can't be nobody's dad," he said. That right there is the reason why I didn't tell you, Chuck." "I was scared," she said. Then she broke down crying. "Oh shit, Noel, I didn't mean being like that. Don't cry, girl. Please. Please, 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 please." Chucky said. "I can't help it, Chuck. What you just said Hurt my feelings, Noel sobs. Forget what I said for a moment. What are you scared of? He asked. He was concerned about his friend despite the news that he's the father of a 4-year-old boy. That you didn't believe me, dropping this big secret on you 4 years later. Plus I led Julius Sr. to believe that Lucas was his. Everything is so messed up right now, she said. Sorry about what I said, okay? I do believe you, he said. You do? She said, grabbing a handkerchief from her pocket and dried her eyes. Of course, this big secret threw me off a bit. Why wait 4 years? You thought I would run away like Julius Sr. did? I would never do that to you. Not in a million years. We are a team. Ride or die. Like you said when we were 6 years old. Remember? He said. Yeah, I remember it. Like it was yesterday, she said. I have a son. I told you we make some beautiful babies together. And we just did 4 years ago, he said. Yep. So, what should we do now? Should we tell him or not? Plus, we have to consider Julius Sr.'s feelings too, because he thinks Luke is his son instead of mine. Whatever you decide, I'll follow your lead, he said. I'd rather not tell Luke that because he's very sensitive and already has a great connection with Julius Sr. We gotta keep this to ourselves. Luke cannot know you are his father, she blurted out. Noel? I think Luke already knows, he whispered. Then Noel and Chucky turned around to see Lucas standing there in shock. Mommy, is Uncle Chucky really my dad? Luke spoke up. Just remember what we agreed on. Whatever you decide, I'll follow your lead, Chucky said. How much did you hear, honey? Noel asked her youngest son. Everything, almost. Just the mushy stuff about how I was con. Luke tried to say. The word you were looking for is conceive. See, Noel said. Oh, I would have said you cheated on Dad, but Uncle Chucky is my dad. So, technically, it's not really cheating. But were you still married when this happened, you guys? Luke said. Before we answer that question, I got a question for you, young man, Chucky said. Sure, Dad, or is it still Uncle Chucky? Luke said. One question at a time, honey, Noel said. What was the question, Chuck? One question at a time, honey, Noel said. What was the question, Chuck? Where did you learn the word technically from, little buddy? Chucky asked him. From watching TV, Luke spoke up. The only thing I see you watching was cartoons, Noel said. I watch the news and sometimes the Science Channel. Sorry, Mama, Luke said. Oh, honey, no need to apologize. You can watch whatever you want, so don't hide anything from me, okay? Noel said. Uh-huh, Luke said. So, Lucas, it seems like you're extremely smart. That came from your mom, said Chucky. Really? Thanks, Dad, Luke said. Instead of their secret handshake, he gave Chucky a great big hug. Imagine if you waited until he was 18 to tell him. It would be a mess. By then, all that innocence goes out the window, and he's going to rebel. Rebellion starts at 18, right after after being a teenager, and you're gonna have two of them, Chucky said. I'm gonna separate them both. Ship JJ to his daddy, wherever he is, and send Luke straight to you to live at your house, or better yet, you take both. You take them both, gift wrap, and I'll flee the country and change my address and my name. I'm going off the grid. Noel said, huh? Saying Chucky and Luke. Yeah, I said, I dare you to tell me different, she said. Mom's losing it. Luke whispered. Earth and Noel, come back. You're exhausted. Low blood was very low. We need to get you home ASAP. Chucky said to his friend. Yeah, you're right. That gum you gave me tastes awful. Where did you get this from, Chuck? She said. My boy Smokey Black created that gum, mixing cinnamon with weed. Oh Lord. He said, I'm going to kill you and Black for this. Bury you both in the backyard and wait until two sets of bones turn to dust. Just like Adam and Eve, she said. What? You think you're God now? He said back. Daddy, I think Mommy's mad with you. Make up with her, please, so you guys can get back together, Luke said. Wait, what? Said Chucky and Noel. My wish came true, Luke said, and it's my cue to leave. Bye. Then he left the room quickly. What was that about? Chucky said finally. I think I do. Our son wants his parents back together, Noel said. Moments later, the two of them brought the kids to an peach-colored house with 3 bedrooms, a large bath, a large kitchen/living room, and a small dining room. It was Noel's house. Back in the day, Julius Williams Sr. was living there with her for 6 months and married to her for 2 weeks. By then, she was pregnant with Julius Williams Jr. They tried to work it out until Julius Sr. got involved with a much older woman, much older than Noel. There's a 10-year difference between Noel and Julius Sr., which makes him 51 to this day. Julius Sr. had his share of women in his day. He started dating at 14. Noel and Chucky were 4 at the time. Between the ages of 14 and 18, he dated 50 girls. He became a father at age of 16 and again at 21. 2 of the girls had one child apiece. He had a son who was 20 today. He served a life sentence for attempted murder on Julius Sr. Apparently, he found out that Julius Sr. was his father and went out to find him. His name is James Andrews. He was 18 at the time and had a plan to confront him, to make him accept the task of being a father. The end result was dangerous. When Julius Sr. denied about being James' father, all he heard was a familiar sound. Then he turned around to see 18-year-old James holding a Glock and pointing directly at him. This all I got for now. Hopefully before the day over I'll do the next video. Till then, see you next video.